New York nigga.
When niggas play
tell
with
it
your
in my
name,
box.
you remind them who you are.
Tell
I'm
it
just
when
trying
I
to tell
walk.
my truth, but niggas is
Tell it
lying on
when
my
I
God.
talk.
I done put so much work and I could have died on the job. I really been in kitchens with chickens when they was frying up the hard. But I'm lying though, right? I've been in power.
Too old for what? Too old for what? For making money and feeding my family? I repeat. What I'm too old for? You heard? Doing business, doing good business? What I'm too old for? Pardon my bop. You heard? I'm just living. I'm just living. So before you get to die, you better live too. You heard? Worry about how I live, nigga. Worry about how you niggas is living. You heard? We only got one chance at this thing called life. You heard? Don't play the backseat for nobody. You heard? We gonna ride till the wheels fall off. We gonna get new axles and put that shit back on the road. Niggas know my bop.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Korash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Salutations to all the Akim, pushing his word with true sincerity and with charity. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, whom the word Indianly calls God, and Jehovah Bahasham is in the name. Yahweh Shai is his son's name of the word Indian calls Jesus, and Recha Korash is the Holy Spirit. As always, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the Israelites according to the Holy Scriptures, as well as the speckled bird, the scattered Israelite foreigners scattered amongst other nations, whose outer appearance may seem to be of those nations to whom they've been scattered to, but whose lineage, their line, through the line of their fathers, go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are Israelites, no matter what your outer appearance may seem to be. And as always, I'm the brother Yediah from the Grimstone branch here in Chicago, and I'm back at another lesson. It's going to be entitled Youth is Vanity. Jake don't want to grow up. You know, and as you've seen for this video, you got this dude, Jim Jones. You know, he's a older man, but you know what you see is something that what you see is common within, you know, Jake's so-called Black, Latino, Native American communities, especially amongst, you know, the Southern Kingdom. They have this obsession with being young. We want to, you know, keep that fashion, that young mind state, instead of having a more mature and learning and growing mind state that comes with, you know, age, experience here on the earth. You see, and ultimately what does? It destroys them. Here it is, you got this little post, and they've been having these little pics going viral of what they consider, you know, your age range or what you'll be classified at, where it says 13 to 24 old, you're classified as a young nigga, right? 25 to 35, you big bro. 36 to 48 is unk. And then 49 to 60, you're an old head, pops or school. And ultimately, it's all folly, man. You see? The scriptures, first off, the scriptures tell you that the 70 years, I believe, if not 80. Let's get that really quick. Because Jake, first off, everything compared to how we used to live, man. We used to live way long lives, and we didn't get obsessed with a certain period or age at time. You see, by reason for a score, you got Jake that died early, man. This Psalms 90 and verse 10, it says 90 and 9, for all of our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. The days of our years are 60 years, 60 years, and 10. So 70 years, and if by reason of strength they be 80 years, which is 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. And you got Jake that don't even make it to this age, you know. You know, that's just one point. But going back to the point, man, Jake doesn't ultimately want to put away those childish things and grow up. This 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 11, it says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. And that's the Apostle Paul. You see? And here it is. Jake grow their personalities and get stuck in that character that they, you know, created or, you know, was living at that, you know, young, early age and never change, never progress, never mature, and get locked into that. And what does it result in? An old fool. You know, one of the examples would be this guy, Jim Jones, you know, and this is just regular Jake, man. This just common, you know, amongst all Jake, you know. But Jake want to hold on to that youthful spirit, that young that ultimately is a demon, that young demon, man. Nah, man, that's vanity. This is Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 9. It says, rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth. And when you young, your body is up to age, of course, was, you and your strength, of course, right? It says, let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thy heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things, God will bring thee into judgment. And ultimately, whatever you do, the Lord, you're gonna have to pay for it. And a wise man will hear this and take precaution and be like, okay, hey, I'm young. Okay, the Lord gonna judge before I do. Let me, walk rightly. Let me make sure I don't anger the Lord, right? A man that has that prudence, that foresight, and that care for the future, he gonna take the admonishment that the scriptures give, right? It says, therefore remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. And these are just stages that you hit, as you grow older, and as you should grow older and mature. Ultimately, that's not who you really are, man. Still more learning to do, more experience to do, more mental, physical, and spiritual growth to do. What you have in our community is you get Jake, they get caught up in that stage and live that one stage for the rest of their life. And ultimately, it's corny, man, because we seen it ample amounts of examples, man. Here it is, they saying a young nigga, you got this young nigga demon on all these younger guys, in which if you classify as a young nigga, you just a demon. You got the shiesty on, you smoking weed, you shooting niggas, you basically living in a GTA server. And they say that's from age 13 to 24, but hey, Yahweh Shai, he was when by age he was 12, he was a man, right? 12 years old. You had kings that sat up on a throne in Israel when they was, very young. I forget. I believe it was like 7, 8. It was one of those. But you had a king that was very young and sat up on the throne, right? This father's business, because the Lord, he was a man at 12. This is Luke chapter 2 and verse 41. I started verse 40. It says, and the child grew, speaking of Yahweh Shai, and waxed strong in the spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of the Most High was upon him. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover, which is commanded in the law. And when he was 12 years old, the scriptures point out that Yahweh Shai was 12 years old when he began to, to act on his own. He was his own man doing, his father's business, right? It says, and when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child, Yahweh Shai, tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. But they, supposing him to have been in a company, went a day's journey, and they sought him from among their kinfolk and acquaintance. So Yahweh Shai went up to Jerusalem, and he ended up falling back, and he was in a synagogue, teaching, learning, studying, asking questions, answering questions, right? And Joseph and Mary, they thought that he was, just amongst a band of people that they came with. They went a day's journey, and they began looking for him. It says, and when they found him not, they returned back to Jerusalem seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in a temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. So Yahweh Shai, when he was about 12, he was in the temple, man, asking questions, answering questions, learning, understanding what was being taught. It says, and when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I sought thee sorrowing. Oh, thy father and I sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto him, how is it that ye saw me? Why are you looking for me? Wish ye not that I must be about my father's business? And he told Mary, he was like, look, what you looking for me for? Don't you know I'm about my father's business? Right? So that was Yahweh Shai when he was 12. But Jake, First off, Jake, suppose they going off what the so-called white man say, oh, you're not a man till you're 18 years old. Which is folly, man. Right? Then they tell you you're not fully mature until you like 25, which it's not scriptural, man. Now, of course, you know, you learn and you growing still. But Jake, they get locked in at these stages, man. And that creates a whole personality, man. For this guy, Jim Jones, as an example, here this guy's like 40-something. And I think he like 40, but he's older man. But, hey, he's an old fool, man. He's an old fool trying to keep up with the young guys. And it's the same thing with the women. The older women, instead of teaching the younger women how to be wives, ruling over the household, they're in competition with them, trying to out-thought them. The younger men, the older men, they're trying to, it's an envy against the younger men, which is just hating one another. It's an envy against the younger men. Instead of leading them, they're in competition with them. Oh, I'm a bigger gangster than you. I've been doing this way longer than you. It's just folly, man. And a lot of that is perpetrated by the so-called white man. He influences Jake to think like that. It is folly, man. We're going to point it out. This Sirach 25 and verse 3, it says, if thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thy age? Right, and when you're young, you're supposed to be, as the elder Apostle Hart bring it out often, when you're young, you can recall things, you remember things, your brain can absorb a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, which it should be. So when you're young, you're really supposed to be trying to gather up wisdom. It says, if thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thy age? And you get older, that wisdom is still with you, leading you upon the right paths. It says, oh, how comely a thing is judgment. It's like, let me read that again. Sirach 25 and 4. Oh, how comely a thing is for judgment, for gray hairs, and for the ancient men to know counsel. Here it is. This guy, Jim Jones, he got grays, you know, but he's still an old fool, man, trying to keep up with the younger guys, the gangster persona, man, instead of aging gracefully in wisdom. And I'm not personally just attacking Jim Jones. He's just the latest example that I've been seeing a lot about, you know, but just look at this nigga, man.
I'm gonna shut up.
Stealing that gangster.
Is either the Joe Freshest or the protection
mindset.
I'm dropping bread, baby.
Years ago.
Oh wow.
It's dripping money over here.
Well,
this guy is an old fool.
Jim Jones has just set out to prove
those aren't singles. Those aren't singles. Those aren't singles. Stripper money.
Yeah, nigga might know some street shit, but
hey,
man, he's an old fool, man, and it's just an example of it. Sirach 25 and 4. Oh, how comely a thing is for judgment, for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. Oh, how comely, and comely is something beautiful, is the wisdom of old men, and understanding and counsel to the men of honor. And that's your badge. Those gray hair, wisdom. That's the glory of a older man, you know. And even then, you got these old niggas that try and dye their hair, cut they trying to just keep up with the with the younger age, getting toupees, all type of folly, man, instead of aging gracefully in knowledge and wisdom. It says, oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding and counsel to men of honor. Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of God is their glory, you see. But Jake's mindset is, oh, I'm going to be young forever. I want to be a young nigga with a shiesty on forever. I want to be in my young nigga stage. Nah, man, it's actually the quite opposite, man. See, I think it was Methuselah. Methuselah lived, he was like 969 years old, man. Me and a brother, Tazawar, we were speaking about it some time ago, man. Imagine living 800s and 900s of years. By year 100, let's say year 100, you a young man in that time span. 100 years, considering eternity, especially, but going back, you know, the biblical numbers, our forefathers living to back in the days, man. By year 100, let's say you live, Methuselah, I believe, was 969. Let's say by year 100, you already wealthy. You've experienced a lot, and you already wealthy. You got much more hundreds of years to live, right? Imagine a 800-year-old, somebody that's 800 years old trying to be a young nigga, trying to fall within a young nigga category. It just is foolish, you see. This Sirach 6 and verse 18, my son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age, man. And that's what it's about. You know, coming to knowledge of the truth. You gather up that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You let it work on you until the day of Yahweh Shai, to that with a wisdom chisel you up into that perfect stature of Yahweh Shai. You see? But this is Proverbs 31 and 30, and it go for both men and women, man. As we went on, this is a rebuke mainly to the men, but hey, the women do it as well, trying to keep up with the young thoughts. You got old women, old enough to be grandmothers, out here still trying to play the field, don't know how to run a house in order, but they out here trying to compete with these young thoughts. It's crazy. Proverbs 31 and 40, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, right? And when you read up, this is really speaking of women. You know, it says, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Let's read that. Let me see what Proverbs 31 and 30 say in the GNT and the NLT. It go hard as well. It's Proverbs 31 and 30. Yep, Proverbs 31 and 30 in the GNT. It says, charm is deceptive and beauty disappears, right? And that's what our women, they don't understand that. Here it is, they in their youth, they racking up numbers, hundreds of bodies. They don't understand the toll that's going to take upon them, man. They don't understand that wall is soon going to hit them. And when once you hit that wall, it's just downhill. And the more damage that you've done to your body while it was in this beautiful youthfulness nature, the more fucked up your latter end is going to be. Here it is, you got women that abuse themselves through overmuch liberty, end up with child in her father's house, then end up with four, five baby daddies, can't keep a man, household out of order. This is a result of taking advantage of that youth, right? Got these young niggas, young dudes out here dying at 13, 20, 22 over foolishness. Proverbs 31 and 30 in the GNT, charm is deceptive and beauty disappears, but a woman who honors the Lord shall be praised. You see? So it's about aging in a wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man. To hell with the fashion of this world and everything that involves in it, man. It's a beautiful thing for an old man or a young man to grow in wisdom and knowledge, not trying to hold on to that youthful nature, the shit you was doing in your youth. First and foremost to myself, you know. But Lil Wim, just a quick edifying lesson. It's just something I've been seeing with this whole young nigga thing, man. It's all foolishness, man. Grow up. Yahweh this out. This was an edifying lesson called Laim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakha Kodash. The honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Salutations to all that I can push his word with true with charity. Shalom, Brakatham, Wakwam Yashrala. Shalom.